Hi there, it's Kevin Thompson from the Rutland branch of CAMRA. I'm making a short video just to show you how easy it is to do beer scoring using the CAMRA website. First of all, you'll need to go to the CAMRA website, www.camra.org.uk, as seen in the URL bar at the top of the screen. Once you've reached the CAMRA website, you'll probably need to sign in if you haven't already done so. So at the bottom right hand corner, you'll see there's a button called Account. So click on Account and it'll ask you to sign in. I think most people would sign in using their membership number and password. So if I click on there, it's sort of remembered it in my phone already. So I'm going to sign in and I'm then going to be logged in to the CAMRA website. It's taking me to my dashboard. So if I just click on Home again, it'll take me back to the home screen. Now, one nice feature of Android devices is that you can make the website appear like an app amongst your apps on your phone. If you click on the three dots at the top right hand side of your screen, you'll see there's the option to add to home screen. So if you click on add to home screen, it's going to ask you whether you want to install it as an app. So click on install and it will install that as an app on your device. So if I then go and look in my apps, I'll see it's there already as an app, and I can click on it and it'll take me to the same screen. Now, one of the good features of that is it makes it easier to then get into CAMRA to do your beer scoring. And it's really important to CAMRA that we have lots of beer scores. So try and make it a habit whenever you having a beer in a pub, just pull out your phone, go to the CAMRA app and click on pubs nearby, and it will take you to the pub that you're actually in. Now I'm doing this from home, so I'm a little bit away from a pub, but down the road we have the Grain Store Brewery Tap. So I'm just going to show you how we do a score for the Grain Store Brewery Tap. So click on the pub and it gives us information about the pub, like where it is, and it will give you opening times as well and the descriptions, etc. Relating to the pub. But very near the top there's the option to do beer score. So if you click on the beer score button, it'll bring up a new page to submit a beer score. And the first thing it asks you is, when did you visit? And that obviously defaults to today's date. So you shouldn't need to change that if you're doing it on the day in the pub on your device. And what score do you want to give the beer? So there's a drop down here. And there's a range from 0, no cask beer being available, through to 5, which is probably the best beer you ever had in your life. And in between there's a range of 1, the beer is barely drinkable and probably you should be taking it back. 2, it's average, it's okay, it's drinkable, but maybe you wouldn't have another one. 3, it's a good session beer, it's on good form and you won't be disappointed to go back and have another one again. And then 4, it's really fabulous beer and you would probably make a pass to go to that pub and have that beer again if you possibly could. Most scores I give are in the range of 2 to 4. I think I've only ever given a 5 in the hundreds of beer scores that I've submitted, and I can still remember that beer and the place where I had that pint. So let's just give it a good score of 3. Then it wants to know what beer did you drink. So if you click on search for a beer, it's going to bring up the beers that are most frequently scored in the pub. So it's likely that the beer that you're drinking will already be listed in here somewhere. But if you can't find the beer, you can enter it manually. So you just click on enter the beer manually and type the brewery that you want to score in. So we were in the Grain Store, so I'll just type Grain Store and it brings up everything beginning with GRA. We've got Grain Store there, and then type the beer that you've got. It brings up some beers, but let's just put temp beer, and then our beer score coordinator knows it's not to score that, include that in our beer scores. Okay, and then there's the option to do a comment if you want to put a comment about the beer and to put the price in, but they're not mandatory. And then you just submit the score and close, or submit the score again if you've got more than one to do. So just submit and score, and it shows you at the bottom of the screen your beer score has been submitted successfully. So I want to encourage you to make beer scoring a habit, because it's really important to our branches that we know where the best beer is, because that ultimately feeds into the Good Beer Guide and supports improving beer quality across the country. Thanks very much for listening. Enjoy your drink. Bye.